Tim and Alan are brothers-in-law who are renovating this Etap double-skinned fiberglass yacht.
As you can see, she's quite a beast.
The boat's been rescued by them from a farm after being damaged in the 1987 storms.
We've got all the parts there. It's like a jigsaw puzzle.
It's bigger than anything we sort of tackled before.
But together, they're confident they can resurrect the boat.
It's like a half-price boat to me, and we share it quite well, really.
The next bump up in steps of luxury, basically.
So they decided to club together, and after agreeing on budgets, schedules and divvying up the tasks, they're now committed to getting her back on the water. The only thing that stands in their way is whether or not they can work as a team.
It's creating other tensions that you know, were never there before. All his little bits are spread right where you want to step. Skin fittings, and there's spanners, and there's sockets.
Oh, he's my brother-in-law, so I love him to bits.
Even though I've created all this dust. Have we got first aid kit handy?
So that one will... So I'm with his grandma at the weekends, I'm with Tim during the day at the weekends, and I'm with his sister during the week. I'm going mad.
I think he's actually discovered some things about himself.
What have you learned about yourself, then, Tim?
I learned that you're allergic to dust, Alan, but...
No, that's just work, Tim.
When I first visited Tim and Alan, we discovered the main problems with Mimas were damage to the hull, the keel and the gel coat, the hard skin that keeps the boat watertight.
In terms of the gel coat, we were hoping it was just going to be able to be buffed down, the repaired areas could be gently gouged out and a new section of gel coat put in, but the guy has found a few minor hairline cracks around the keel box area, which we need to investigate.
In order to figure out how badly the gel coat has been damaged, Tim has organised the hull to be steam cleaned. This method of steam cleaning uses low-pressure air with sand and heated water and can remove pretty much anything. Initial results look promising. However, the cleaning soon exposes how badly damaged the hull really is. With the hull worse off than Tim had originally thought, it's back to the drawing board with what to do about the gel coat and, more importantly, overcoming their concerns about the structure of the boat.
Our real problem and trying to get sorted out is getting this hull man, or a hull man, in to at least make sure up to the waterline can be done by an expert. We're finding our experience on that side of things is very limited.
It hasn't seriously dented my commitment to it or the ability to think that it will be done. I always expected problems, but we just get some direction and some facts on the hull and the top sides, just to know where we're going. We take an informed decision, we put it in train, we get it done. I was dejected a little bit, but you pick yourself up and you get on with it.
Hello.
And Tim's done just that. The next week, he's found their hull man, and it looks as if he can get the project back on track.
We've got a guy on board now called Roy, who I hope you'll meet. Unfortunately, he can't work at weekends. He works in the evenings, and we've had some really good long sessions sorting out the hull and top sides.
With Roy on board, they can now start removing all the old fittings to replace them with new ones.
So we still need to drill this one out to get that bit off. Lovely job.
With Roy making some serious headway on remoulding the deck and hull, I thought it might be time to give the guys a visit, now that they seem to have broken through at an important stage of the project.
Good morning, Tom. Nice to see you.
Tim.
You're looking well.
Hi, Alan.
You're a bit late on parade this morning.
I am, yeah. Well, a bit of a night of it last night, but I tell you what, this does my heart good.
Good. You can see a difference, can you?
Oh, my goodness. It looks lovely and smooth. The bottom looks great now, doesn't it?
Yeah, well, we've done nothing to the bottom. That's just as it was cleaned, and she's keyed, ready to take the primer now.
Yeah, when I went to bed that night, I remember the big issue in my mind was concern about whether you were going to do a proper job or not on this. And I remember you had some options, didn't you? Whether there was going to be a gel coat job or a paint job, and it's resolved itself, hasn't it? Yeah. Got to be a paint job.
It has, unfortunately.
Well, I mean, this looks just great to me. I A lot of people will think, well, it looks like, you know, half a job or a bit of a boat that's being worked on. But to me, compared with what we saw before, it is really exciting to see it looking like this. Yeah, that's right.
Keen to speak to the man who had made such a difference, it wasn't long before I tracked down Roy, the hull man.
You're the man who's done all this. I'm, frankly, somewhat in awe of what you've done, really, because I came here 6 weeks ago, a couple of months ago, and the hull looked like a right old botch up, really. Well, sort of thing I might have done. It was all body filler and it was all wavy, and I looked at that and I thought, how on earth are you going to sort that out?
I come down and had a word with Tim about this job, and I did think about just walking away. You know, it was bad. The amount of cost it would have taken to re-gel this boat wouldn't have been a viable project.
I see.
So the easiest way was to fill it with resin, catalyst, hardener, go over it with filler, sand it all down, and then paint it up.
It's more sophisticated, but it's a little bit like the job I might do on my old car when I've got a bit of a dint in it. I whack the stuff in, I leave it proud, and then I roll the sleeves up and rub
sand it up.
Yeah, same job.
Just a bigger item.
Yeah, and better sanded, if I may say so.
Practice makes perfect, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I think you've got to have an eye for it as well, and Roy's certainly got the eye. He knew just which needed to be filled without having to actually do a lot of measuring over it. He went to it, and it was the right area that was being filled, you know.
Yeah.
So
you can do that there. Well, I do that there in an evening.
Yeah, it's not soul destroying. It's hard, but with the right abrasive paper,
you just get up there and switch off and just keep going till it's flat.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
You come down looking very, very white.
Like snowman.
Yeah.
Rather a bit like that, Tom.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much. Well, at least I got some.
Ouch!
Oh, 15 on.
But the big question is, having seen it done by the professional, could Tim and Alan now do it themselves?
If you were faced with a job like this again, and you couldn't find Roy or somebody like Roy, knowing what you know now, do you think you might be able to cope with it yourselves?
I personally have no problems with the outside and the filling. My problem, because I've not seen Roy do it, is actually putting the resin, the glass fibre mat, actually structural stuff. That's still where I would fall down. Alan's probably the same.
The experience, the knowledge, I don't think I would tackle it. No, the sandpapering down and getting that shape.
Yeah,
no way could I have got that.
The guys have also made significant headway with fairing up the topsides, removing all the moving parts in preparation for a respray and clearing out the interior.
It just looks so large now.
It's terrific. I mean, it just shows, doesn't it? You know, you've got to be cruel to be kind with a boat. It's wonderful to see this great big space and all clean and all sound. So we've got an inspirational site here, really, but there's clearly a great deal to do. I mean, how is your time frame panning out, guys?
Seeing it after the first time, then it seemed it was every weekend in May, and that plus work. It seemed I had 30 days flat out. I was beat.
It's like a tap dripping.
It's
for me.
time, isn't it, for you all? Is it wearing you down?
It's not wearing me down because I enjoy it. I like finding people looking at it, or finding materials, or actually doing bits. I mean, that companion way. I mean, I guess I spent 2-3 hours just rubbing down, filling to get the shape right, and that was very rewarding to do that.
Yes, and it's a lovely job.
It's time. It's, you know, it just goes.
End of June, then I wanted to get on and crack on with the engine, and each weekend I came back, the bits I needed either hadn't arrived or they came and they were faulty. So
That's actually changed down a little bit, I think. He was a little bit sort of stressed up to start with, but you've got to appreciate that it's not a production line operation.
Although it's a hobby, you are having to get a grip on yourself, and I think you find out a little bit. I certainly have over the years. You find out little bits about yourself that please you, and other bits that don't please you. And if you're sufficiently at peace with yourself to be able to have a look at the bits you don't please, you can do something about it. But the overriding thing for me is to just take everything out and be able to see the job, get on top of the job and see what you've really got. It's the same every time, every project we've got, it comes down to the same thing. You end up taking it all apart, and I think this must be the message that we all have to learn. You know, there's no mussing about with these projects. You've got to go the whole hog if you're going to do it at all. Remarkable things have happened since my last trip. She almost looks like a boat in a factory now. She looks clean. She looks up together. She is going to go back to sea. There's no doubt about that at all. Whether she'll go back in time, really, I have serious doubts whether this one's going to make it. Anything can create difficulties. on a project like this, and there are so many diverse factors that have to pull together to get this boat in the water in a month's time. We have Alan telling us all the difficulties he's had just sourcing the bits for the engine. Well, that's how it goes, and there's going to be more of that, but he's bearing it remarkably well, and Tim seems to be looking at the thing with considerable understanding. We've got Roy, the expert, putting the boat together. He's the rock, really, behind all this. But I'm enormously impressed with the way the two guys, the two main players, are continually getting on with each other. It can't be easy for them.
You've got to treat it as a job during the weekend, so you can do things.
It's rewarding to do it, but at the same time, you just don't realise how much work there is involved.
But the magnitude of the management task, which is the task we saw right at the beginning, all cut and dried in neat little boxes, is actually, it's spilling out of those boxes all over the place.
Although Tim and Alan have done an awful lot so far, it's taken them so long to get to this point that launching the boat before the end of the summer is looking more and more unlikely.